That's okay. Thank you.
You saw me.
Being yelled at, do not interpret this as someone raising their voice. This was legitimate yelling. Additionally, there is a disrespectful matter of when I am permitted to provide an answer. Mr. Flota will respond with a line of relentless questions that I've already provided answers for. In response, I repeat the information I have already provided over and over, which for some reason doesn't satisfy his line of questioning until someone else, usually a man, speaks up, repeats exactly what I just said, and is met with an "oh, okay" response by Mr. Flota. I am very tired of being the target of Mr. Flota and Mr. Long's disrespectful, sexist, and hostile treatment, as each of these situations that I have described happen multiple times in nearly every encounter with Mr. Flota, often within the setting of Parks and Recreation Board meetings or within community garden meetings. I would also like to take a moment to indicate that Mr. Rybacki has also been a recipient and victim of Mr. Flota and Mr. Long's short tempers and lack of decorum. I have witnessed Mr. Flota and Mr. Long yell, interrupt, not allowed to speak, and make false equivalencies in an attempt to falsely discredit Mr. Rybacki's remarks. Perhaps unrelated but timely according to this meeting's agenda, as a current board member of Parks and Recreation, I do not believe that Mr. Rybacki should be removed from his volunteer position as a member of the Parks and Recreation Board. To those that may question the legitimacy of the above stated events, I will be happy to bring forth others who have also been witness to the events I am describing if further testimony is needed. In summation, it is my earnest request that one, Parks and Recreation, including Mr. Flota and Mr. Long, no longer be involved with the oversight of the community garden in order to restore peace and forward-moving progress with the community garden. And two, Mr. Rybacki retains his position as a Park and Recreation Board member. Sincerely, Rhea Homa. Thank you.
Thank you. No. Nothing virtual. Nobody else? Thank you.
Yeah.
Was that? Oh,
Or I would have just stayed up here. As previously stated, my name is Bridget Series, 719 Allegheny River Boulevard, Verona. This statement is regarding agenda items letter X and subsection G and I. For everyone's information, I am a founding member of the Shade Tree Commission and wrote the Shade Tree Commission ordinance with review before enactment conducted by Mr. Alexander. I direct you to your attention to the enacted Shade Tree Commission Code in Chapter 62, Sections 2 and 3 that empower the commission and the borough equally to full custody and control of the trees. As well, the commission is empowered to manage shade trees and institute proper arboricultural practices. As well, I would direct council to the fact that there was a meeting regarding this issue. The Shade Tree Commission empowered Mr. Rybacki to remove said material because in the Shade Tree Commission section, it also talks about the fact that any debris underneath the tree is to be removed in a certain section to empower the tree to have adequate airflow and water access. I would also like to bring to the council's attention the code governing the Recreation Board, section 10(9)(e), regarding and asking if a recommendation has been sought from the Parks and Recreation Board regarding agenda item XI. As well, it does not govern the rest of the section. It should be seriously considered as it was written in that way for a reason, and therefore the council should take that beginning of the sentence as seriously as the rest of it. I also want to just bring to your attention that Tree Vitalize has been an amazing partner of this borough for years, and things like this that have occurred tarnish our reputation and future relationship with that entity. As well, I would encourage you all to reread your commitment to Tree Vitalize in regards to the care of the trees, and why we have a Shade Tree Commission today is because of that commitment. We did not previously. As well, I question whether, did the borough actually have communication regarding the Tree of Heaven? Do you even know? Did you get an email that got lost in the shuffle of what was happening during that period of time? I don't know. Maybe you did, and you just don't know because it's been lost. I would like to see proof that you don't have any communication from anyone regarding that issue. As well, I understand that there is concern about union matters regarding the street crew. Many of you know, I was a teacher for 20 years. I was the president of my union for 4 of those, and I now work for a union. A grievance, while not ideal, is a vehicle to enforce a contract and resolve issues. So my question would be, has there been a grievance regarding this issue? If there has, I would be very curious to see what the resolution for that grievance was stated as in the grievance, because it's a requirement of a grievance. I would venture to say that the resolution would be to no longer subvert the work. Meaning there is no financial liability, there is no legal liability regarding this issue, which is at the end of the day, the most important part of any arbitration between a union and the council and the borough. To me, it's a non-issue because there wasn't any significant violation of their contract. I also, just to make you all aware, as I understand it, you're voting on a contract this evening. I'm going to be requesting it under FOIA law because I have been hearing that the street crew, who I like very much, is allowed to say no to things. And as a union employee for most of my life, you don't get to say no. You have to do it and then you grieve it. So I don't quite understand that line. While it might be conjecture, I don't quite understand it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Anybody else, Vince?
Jessica?
Jessica?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I got on a little late, but I did hear some of this. Jessica Verone, 722 Bruno Street. I did hear some of Bridget's comments, and I think it's helpful sometimes to just hear different perspectives. And I guess I feel like I can't just sit by and be quiet about it when others have kind of put themselves out there. And just wanted to speak up and say that I too have witnessed these instances of bullying and gaslighting that Bridget's brought up, mostly more from Vince because I haven't worked as much with Tim. I have personally avoided certain activities in the borough in order to avoid working on a team with them. I just find the behavior pretty toxic and unhealthy to be around. And I've just seen this bullying towards other residents, and I don't want to call them out for their privacy, but I just find it concerning that it just continues to be kind of brushed aside or accepted. It's just the way things are. So that's why I'm saying it. I think there were probably some good intentions for these gentlemen in getting involved in things, but it's tough when other residents feel like they can't be involved because of this behavior. It's also just a little worrisome that we have so much overlap between council members and the rec board, which is, I think, meant to be a separate body providing recommendations to council on the, borough's parks and recreation. So I guess it's maybe not, it's technically legal to do that, but I don't think it's a great way to have autonomy in the borough or provide opportunity for other residents to become involved in the community. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Anybody else? That's it. That's it. Thank you. We'll move on to the comments from advisory boards. There is none. We're going to go to reports. I have one thing. Lower Valley Ambulance, by now everybody knows that we got a letter from Lower Valley. I'm not going to read it. It basically says that Lower Valley went to Oakmont has went and contracted Parkview Ambulance, which is still doesn't affect the borough of Verona residents. You call 911 and there will be an ambulance coming to your house. We were supposed to have a meeting last week with Lower Valley, and in light of what Oakmont sent them, they had to cancel it so they could get their all their documents together. I'm sure there's gonna be another meeting scheduled soon. Also, that's all I did on that prior, no, yeah. Craig will do that. Craig will do that. That's all I have on Lower Valley update. Just be advised that there will be ambulance service if you call 911. We're not left out in the cold. The mayor's report, Mayor Recupero.
Yeah, I just have two quick comments that came up. On the news, they talked about, I think it was in the South Hills, 3 communities out there with car break-ins. And, it's coming to that time of year when it's warm and it seems like April, May, June, we start getting car break-ins. Please lock your doors. And, it's not always the police department's fault that your car gets broken into. I hear it constantly, where are the police? I understand that, but you have to take responsibility too. I personally had my vehicle broke into, and $45 was taken along with my wallet. That was my fault. So what I'm saying is, please, we're getting into that time of year. It seems like every, after winter and the springtime, the people start roaming and checking the doors, so please lock your doors. And the other thing brought to my attention, they have asked me to, the waste cans up at Cribbs Field. If you see them full as you're walking your dog, please do not put your bag in there and let it overflow. Take it with you. They will, there are people that come and change the bags, so. If you do see it filled, please do not set it on the ground or on top of the can. Take it with you. It will be more than likely, I believe. Excuse me, they come 2 or 3 times a week to check all the cans. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Can I ask some about those are the doggy waste
Yeah,
stations,
yeah,
right?
those canisters
Yeah,
up at Cribbs. There's, I think, 2 on, they're all around the
Mhm.
ball field there. And they do help.
okay. I just was wondering, is it possible that the DPW can collect that garbage when they collect the other garbage? Pardon me?
I will let them know. I don't think, I have to find out where those bags are, because those were done by community members, so I will get that to check.
When we approved the doggy waste stations, Stephanie Garibay volunteered to empty them because she has a dumpster behind her kennel or her boarding business that actually accepts waste. That was the issue, was we didn't want to just mix dog waste in with regular garbage. She actually has a dumpster that is specified for biohazard waste or so they didn't want it.
Yeah, and I guess it's all we're asking is, please don't leave it there. If the canister is full, take it home and put it in your own garbage. That's all that's being said. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Manager's report, Stephanie?
Glass recycling, beginning March 17th, residents can drop off all colors of glass bottles, jars and jugs, the Riverside Park Second Avenue parking lot. A flyer has been posted on Facebook and there's information on the website. I know I'm about to bring up a sore subject, but Beaver Jack has come back. I've read brief updates. I understand what has happened. I basically understand the decorative tree issues. They are not asking to have those paid for at this time. They're asking to have the trees that were completed and were found to be sufficient. They did a good job. So. And since none of the trees, they're asking for the ones, not the decorative ones, the other ones to be paid for.
How much?
$9,800. I can keep putting them off. I'm just not sure how much longer I can put them off. So that's gonna have to be a discussion we have to have with our solicitor.
Have they been calling and asking for the money? Because I thought at one point they were like, you know, like. I know there was talk of, having a private arborist come in, you know, and, you know, looking at them and. I was under the impression, they said, you know what, we're not gonna charge you, we're just gonna walk away from this, but have they been sending
I'm
bills?
just saying they have come back to me. This is the first time they've come back. to
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I've only been here 4 months.
That's what
Mr. Petrus, you were involved with all that, right, Matt?
Yeah, I forget what the exact date was, but it was. So I think August or September of 21. We had sent them an email stating that we did not receive a copy of their arborist certification.
Right?
That was the 5th or 6th time we had requested it. So in that email, we had stated that we weren't gonna pay the bill. And it has kind of sat radio silent since, and Stephanie made me aware of it last month when they came requesting the money again.
And we still didn't receive a copy of their report.
No,
So that's a year and a half, approximately, since we've heard from them. And we didn't even hear from them when you wrote them in August of 2021, correct?
I'd have to go back and check the exact amount of times, but it was 4 or 5, maybe even 6 emails I had sent to either BJ or his secretary with no response to the emails. So that's why the last one basically stated we weren't gonna pay you until we received this information. And then it just went silent. We assumed it was over with, and now they're coming back asking for payment.
So we still want a copy of their report,
At least the copy of the arborist
Right.
certification.
right?
And like I said, I don't know enough about this, so I had to request it.
I mean, I would sooner want them to pay damages. I mean, we can pay them for any work that was legitimately with an arborist, but I would suspect that the cost to replace the trees they damage would be in excess of that, so.
I think that was the thinking at the time, that to sort of call it even. We don't pay them, they don't have to replace the trees. That's sort of where I recall it being left.
Like I said, I have no idea what's in here.
Maybe Matt and Stephanie can work on finding out, getting to the bottom of that.
I know that the idea of arbitration had come up. The issue was the way that the pricing worked out on the contract. The decorative trees were only $1,200 or something like that. And at the time, Craig recommended that to try to arbitrate for the other work that they completed was not gonna work. So we can request the copy of the arborist certification again. We did at that point, the Shade Tree Commission had given us several arborists to reach out to. None of them had responded to come and assess the trees, so I don't know. Now that we're
2 years
2
later,
years down the road from when the work was completed, what exactly could be done.
you're saying we owe them like 9,800.
According to them,
That doesn't include the decorative.
After a certain point, can that bill be dropped? Or no?
What do you mean after a certain point?
Well, I mean, they haven't done enough now, all of a sudden they want the money. After a certain point, does it just dissolve? I don't know. how
Oh,
that
got it.
works.
I think if they don't take any action for a period of 4 years, they would lose the ability to enforce their right to.
So it's 4 years.
That's a statutory statute of limitations on a contract action.
We're not close to 4 years.
I think the idea was that they broke the contract by not having the arborist be present like they were supposed to
Yeah.
be.
And I think
Yeah.
we advised them of that.
The bike derby, is currently being worked on. It's scheduled to take place on Saturday, June 10th. This STMP RFP, we are working on and should be completed for review at our workshop meeting. Last meeting, I misspoke because unemployment workers comp, they audit them at the same time. Unemployment audit, they had an error and they had to give us back $1.06. Workers' comp, we actually ended up owing them about $2,500, which really wasn't that bad at the end of the day. That's all I have.
Very good, thank you.
Oh, Mr. President, I guess real quick, I'll work with Stephanie and we can get back in touch with Beaver Jack. And request the arborist certification. I guess just looking for a little direction from council of if the conversation comes up. As far as what council's willing to pay if we receive that. If we do receive it, are we saying that we're okay with the work that was done on Wildwood and West Railroad for those trees?
Matt, I guess we're gonna have to look and see. I mean, it's been 2 years off the top of our head.
Okay,
You know, maybe we can come up with a little report or something of what,
okay.
you know what I
The-
mean?
The trimming of the trees that was done along Wildwood and West Railroad was done to satisfaction.
Was it?
They
And
got
that, and
all
that's
the-
what they're charging us for?
Yeah,
That's what they're requesting, and then they're leaving the 1,100 off. There was a lot of question though about possible damages, possible tree replacements.
Mhm.
I have not personally reviewed the trees, but to my knowledge, none of them have
Uh,
died since the trimming was done, which was a concern.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they provide the correct documentation, if we're agreeing upon the work that was completed on the other roads, and then just withholding the money from the decorative trees.
I would think if we owe the money and it was signed off on the tree, the job was done right and we get the proper documentation. I would think that would be fine to cut a check
Okay. Well,
personally.
I'll work with Stephanie and we won't make any payments until the next meeting, just in case the conversation comes up, we know how to respond to that.
I guess my other concern is if you get the documentation for an arborist. Confirm that he actually was employed at the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
By Beaver Jack, you know,
And
just
we-
a arborist that happened to
True.
get hired last month, and that's why they're collecting, looking for
True.
money now.
And once we know who it is,
Agreed.
there are databases
Okay.
to
Yeah.
research that.
And I'd like to invite the shade trees input as well.
Okay,
Well, because I'm also recollecting that not being a tree expert is that there's potentially, even though they lived through last year and there seem to be blooming now, that there's potential. And again, maybe later Bridget could come, but there's potential that the injury that occurred to the trees could show up down the road. And, you know, that's why we just decided to call it by not paying for anything. And then if something needed to be replaced down the road, we would use that $9,800 that we didn't use to pay them to replace the trees or do what had to be done to fix them. You know, I could be wrong, but that's what I'm remembering. I don't know if you remember that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Code enforcement.
There's the report.
You want to read it, Dave? or-
What, there's a report?
Oh, I'm sorry, I think it's the code enforcement.
Oh, code enforcement. I'm sorry. Yeah,
There's
Yeah, we're not
the
there
report.
yet.
Oh.
Sorry
I
about
didn't
that.
even hear you say
What,
that.
what,
There's no report.
there's no report?
There's no,
Oh, okay.
police chief's report.
Been doing a lot of inspections.
Okay.
Complaints received 100, total crimes reported 13, total crimes cleared 11. Total persons arrested 3, crime code summary issued 2. Vehicle code summaries issued 3, borough code summaries issued 19, borough parking tickets 72. No ordinance violations. Magistrate fines collected $415.90. Borough fines and fees collected $490. No police reports. Amusement device permit 2,500. Municipal fines, nothing. Total fines and fees collected $3,405.90. And we don't have anything for parking permit fees this month.
Thanks, Dave.
Question. Does anybody know I don't know, without the police being, without the chief being here. The year to date for 23 is so much less than the year to date to 22.
Because they don't do it, their year to date's a little bit different. I don't think they do it the way you think they do it. I don't think that's year to date, January and February. I can chat.
I just wondered if there were less devices or
Yeah,
something.
No, we've already got, I'm sorry, we've already got money for the amusement devices.
Yeah, but if you compare the last column, at this time in 2022, we had 10,300. And this year at this time, we only have 6,100.
Well, maybe some of the places pull their machines out. I don't know. We'll have
Or
to
when
check into it.
their money that not as much money got deposited in February, just due to, I know there was a huge deposit just made.
Okay,
So it's just
Okay.
timing and stuff like that.
that's fine. I just was curious if we lost a bunch of amusement.
No,
devices.
we had a hard time finding new addresses. They kept coming back, so we had to keep finding new addresses.
Okay, thank you.
We actually have more, I think, because like they're in Giant Eagle now and more,
Yeah,
like more places.
So
we
we're
have
working
more.
on that, so, yes.
Okay,
Great.
great, thank you.
Fire chief's report, DNT.
Evening, council.
Mhm.
The fire company answered a total of 10 calls for the month of February, starting at 2-9. A possible house fire at 1416 Blackmore Avenue in Penn Hills. There was smoke coming from a wall heater. 212, we had a residential structure fire at 301 8th Street in Oakmont. 214, carbon monoxide alarm, 633 Sarah Lane in Penn Hills, false alarm. 215, smoke in a structure at 111 Allegheny Avenue in Oakmont, fire smoldering in the wall. 215, trash receptacle fire at 754 Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona, there's a garbage can on fire. 215, smoke in a structure, 101 Washington Avenue, apartment 211 in Oakmont, smoke from a cooking incident. 221, commercial fire alarm, 6721 Sylvan Road in Penn Hills, false alarm. 223, commercial fire alarm, 801 7th Street in Penn Hills, false alarm. 224, commercial fire alarm, 801 7th Street in Penn Hills. It was a false alarm from the technician working on the system from the previous day. 227, good intent call at 755 East Railroad Avenue in Verona. Tenant thought the oven was on fire, but it was not. That's all.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. EMS report.
There were 7, BLS calls. There were 4, advanced life-saving calls. They also, you will see attached a picture of the new, sort of new 2017 ambulance that LVS just got.
Very good, thank you. Solicitors report, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did submit a solicitor's report. The only thing I have to add to that report is that Borough Council did hold an executive session immediately prior to this evening's meeting, commencing at 9:30, 6:30 PM to discuss personnel issues. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Engineers report, Mr. Pitch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did submit my written report, a few updates on that, the Wildwood culvert. That will be finished up this week, and then we'll work on getting the paperwork closed out. One thing we did find while completing the work, the next approximately 35 feet upstream to where the concrete pipe begins is in pretty poor shape. It used to be supported by I-beams, which are paper thin. We've noticed some UPS trucks pull over there to deliver packages to local businesses. So I did have a conversation with Stephanie. I received one quote in the 19,000 range, so it's under the bidding threshold. So I'm going to proceed with getting at least 2 more quotes so we can possibly consider looking at having that next section replaced.
Is that still part of Verona or is that?
Correct. It's in front of where they tore down the house between Benny's and the locksmith company. And then there's been some question as the culvert continues downstream, which I'll work with Craig to determine ownership and legality there. Because the rest of it till where it daylights is pretty poor shape as well, but as of this moment, I don't believe it would be the borough's responsibility. I had a Zoom meeting this past week in regards to a DCNR grant that is currently available. We've been working on getting grants and have been fairly successful upgrading parks in recent years. But it's all kind of come piecemeal, and we don't have a greater comprehensive plan or master strategy when it comes to the parks. So this grant would allow for hiring a sub-consultant to put together a master plan of parks, reviewing existing facilities, engaging the community to see what's used and what's not, looking at possible expansion of the parks, looking at ADA improvements. So it does require a resolution. I'll have that for the workshop meeting. And then towards the end of May, there's a DCD grant that we were looking to apply for to possibly cover the match of the DCNR grant. So I'll have more information at the workshop, and also the resolution for that. And that's all I have unless there's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Pitch.
I have two quick questions, which is any update on the paving specifically of Sylvan?
So that's part of a CDBG grant, so we're at the mercy of the county, and when all the paperwork gets approved or whatnot. I'm hoping sooner than later, but unfortunately, the county is experiencing staffing shortages. So they're all kind of doing double duty, so as soon as we get that back, I'll work with the COG and we'll get it advertised. It'll be this year, I just don't have an exact time frame of when.
Awesome. It came to our attention that Demore Towers is paving as well. Does it make sense to try to team up on something like that?
Typically not. They're gonna hire a private company, and with our bidding requirements, plus the bidding and advertising requirements with the grants are even more stringent than just the borough doing the project. And then just unfortunately, the unknown of the timing. I would just recommend that if they're ready to move forward, and that way any potential damage is just repaired when we redo our road.
That's a great point. I guess I have three questions. The cap that was missing in the parking lot, Oakmont Water, is there any update on that?
So we've been working with them. Unfortunately, our last contact no longer works with Oakmont Water. The new contact can be rather difficult to get a hold of. So Stephanie and I have been in contact and we're still working on it. So unfortunately, no update right now, other than we're working on it with them.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Pitch. We'll go to committee reports. Finance Committee, Dr. Carpenter.
Okay, in the month of February, our total income was a little over $90,000. Which is quite a bit more than January, which was around 52,000. And our expenditures for the month of February was 82,500. And our expenditures in January were 105 approximately. So we did well in the month of February, even though we haven't really started collecting taxes yet. We were in the plus column by about $7,700. So, that's good, I think. Also, just in terms of major expenditures, we have recurring expenditures to Alcoasand. That's quite high, like 174,000. That happens in a recurring fashion. We did put out $12,448 for Robinson pipe cleaning. Is that something we're paying for? Is that coming from a grant?
That will be reimbursed at 85%.
Okay, so that'll be reimbursed at 85%. And then revenues, we got the payment apparently from Penn Hills that we get for the rental of $18,000. So that was good. other receipts or recurring receipts. You guys all have a copy of the bills. And I'm wondering if there's any questions from anyone about the bills? So if anybody has no questions, comments, or concerns, I'll make a motion to approve paying the bills.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter to pay the bills, second by Mr. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Okay, thank you. And then you'll also see, I did not hear any feedback about the minimum fund balance policy that I put out soon after the last meeting.
That's under action item in the law.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, and we're not gonna take the action on it. I just wanted to point out that, you know, after much discussion, we did agree on a minimum fund balance of not less than 2 months of regular general fund operating expenditures. Just so everybody knows, when we vote on it later, that's what we're voting on. I was hoping for 3 months, but you know, we can always change it. It's very easy to change if we feel that we should have more later on. So for now, that is what's recommended by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. So we'll be voting on that later. I also just want to say that just so that people who made comments at the beginning of the meeting know that at least I can say for myself that I hear you, and I think that we are all as a council going to be taking this under consideration and addressing it. That's not giving anything away, I don't think, but I just want to acknowledge that I heard everyone's comments. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Carpenter. Recreation and community events, Mr. Craig.
We have 2 items, one we're gonna table, but the other item is, there's a question about for park rentals for the special events permits, which is for alcohol usage. I guess there's a question of whether there's a charge for that permit.
You know, there's a charge, but we don't know if it's that amount.
Is it written anywhere? Is it we can't find it anywhere?
I brought up at the meeting that I think Nancy and Craig worked on that policy a couple years ago. So I would refer to that Nancy about it.
If that was passed, it should be in the office. I don't know what year it would have been passed, the 18, 19 maybe.
Okay.
Do you
We're gonna have-
remember, Craig? I can't recall
I don't recall.
the fee.
I don't recall.
Okay.
You have to do a little research and
Yeah.
see if we can find it.
Does anybody have a certain amount? Okay, I can't find anything because we have events coming up like ASAP.
Mm.
Probably on an old fee schedule, fee resolution.
Yeah, do you remember? The fee resolution, that's right. That was like in December of 2021 that we passed that.
I don't remember it being,
I don't remember.
Thanks.
it should have been.
You would think it would be.
Matt's looking.
I have a copy of the fee schedule, so I'll look it up.
Okay,
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
we'll get back to you.
I don't know if it's on there, but I'll.
Very good. Thank you. Is that it, Rick?
That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Public Safety Committee, Mrs. Provenza.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Vince, Tim and I interviewed Officer Pepper last Wednesday. And we felt very favorable about him, presented very well. I believe that we were waiting on a background check. I don't know whether that's been completed yet or not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been done yet either.
No, it hasn't. He's working on it.
Okay.
Being worked on, right?
but he is, ready to go to work, glad to come. Real nice man, young man, very nice,
Very good.
local boys.
And I believe he's gonna give us some hours also.
I was gonna say, we know.
Yeah, you're looking at 4 days.
Yeah.
That's
great.
He's eager to
He's
get
only
started.
working for one other department right now, he doubles on the weekends, but he's gonna drop one of those days.
Okay.
Come work here and then double one weekend day there and then work.
Good. Once we get the background check, the mayor and the chief can get them on the schedule and get them trained and whatever. Thank you.
Yes, sir, you're welcome.
Anything else, Mrs. Provenza?
I was just waiting on, Mr. Dent, Officer Benson, yes, he is, oh, good. Yes, he is working, he's worked 3 days. Oh, good. Thank you.
You also have on there about the draft South Avenue parking ordinance.
The draft ordinance for South Avenue is attached to your packets for you guys to review. It needs to be advertised and we'll have to have a motion later tonight to advertise it.
Very good, thank you. Communications, Mr. Flota,
I have nothing at this time.
thank you. Infrastructure and asset management, Ms. Resdick Showalter.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item is, I just want to make a quick mention about our memorandum of understanding with Still City Rowing. It's in our solicitor's report, but for anyone who doesn't have a copy of that, our infrastructure committee was just wanting to make sure that we didn't need to make any adjustments to our existing MOU that we made last year. So Still City maintains our public dock for us and lets us know of major and minor repairs. So after checking with Still City and council, we determined no updates are needed, so that will automatically renew for the next year. Also, I just wanted to mention that my committee will meet tomorrow night at 6 p.m. via Zoom. I don't want to say too much about it, but spoiler alert, we are working on a project that I'm spearheading as part of the Champions Institute to add a pedestrian pathway to coincide with the paving at Sylvan Way, which is why I bug Matt every meeting to know when that paving will happen. So we're working on a plan together with my committee members to put the pathway in. So more will be to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Community Development, Mr. Long. Nothing at this time, thank you. Reports of committees, Alon.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, just real quick, under ALOM, the Spring Educational Conference is coming up very quickly. And it will be April 13th through the 16th. And deadline to register is Friday, March 24th. So anyone interested in going, have to get your registration in. And they do have a golf outing coming up, which they said they'll be putting the information on that for next meeting. June 5th. June 5th. The golf outing's June 5th. Oh, okay.
Sorry, I just got an email about it.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to bring it up because I thought it's down the road away and they said you can hold up on that. But thank you, Stephanie.
COG, Dr. Carpenter.
Yeah, there's nothing really new since the meeting was February 22nd. We had a meeting on February 28th. But what I do want to bring up is I've sent several emails about the committee times that meet on the fourth Wednesday that conflict with the COG. And I haven't, it doesn't seem like we've come to a conclusion about that. But I think that it's important not to have conflicting meetings with COG and the other two committees. Yes, I would like to be able to attend the committee meetings, even though I'm not on those committee meetings. And I also would like people to realize, and I think I wrote this in my email, that Tricia is the alternate and she's on both of those committees, committees. So if for some reason I wouldn't be able to go to the COG meeting, then that would be a major conflict, because then Trish could not attend the committee meetings and go to COG at the same time. So if the Communications Committee and Community Event and Recreation Committee can't change their time, then I would be resigning as the COG rep. And we would have to find someone else to be the COG rep.
I could go to the COG meetings if you have to do that.
So what do we do about an alternate?
So we'll have to appoint someone.
There's
Do you want to be the alternate?
not really. I'd like the committee to.
Well, I
consider
can't see
changing the
changing
time.
2 committee meetings now. I mean, we set the committee meetings up the beginning of the year, advertised and everything.
Right, and the
you know.
reason I'm bringing it up now is because we're advertising the ordinance for South Avenue. And we're advertising another committee meeting change, time change from 2 to 6. So I thought if we could come up with another day and time for those other 2, that it really wouldn't cost too much and
Well, let
then
me ask this,
I'd be able to do.
the Communications Committee, Mr. Floto, would you be willing to change your times?
I contacted, I sent several emails out and we tried, but people's schedules just aren't accommodating to that.
Okay, Mr. Floto, or Mr. Long, Community Development.
No, no, it's red.
Oh, it's red, I'm sorry.
Same, we haven't been able to find in time that everyone's available.
Okay,
That is on the
So-
committee.
so to change them would be tough on that part too, anyway. So, I mean,
Yeah, we can't change the COG, obviously.
obviously,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we also talked about if Trish being the alternate had to miss one committee meeting because of it, I think that, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, Trish, but would that be okay?
it would be 2 meetings.
Well, yeah, but it would be one week, one month.
Yeah.
1 month.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. You guys are the heads. I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
would you
That's what I
mind?
do.
Yeah,
well, like I said, I could step up too, I could go to the COG.
I don't have a problem switching.
But your committee's not being affected by this, Mr.
Yeah,
Provenza.
but
she
she's-
means, yeah.
Yeah,
She's on the
Okay.
Communication Committee.
Yeah, I mean, if we could find a time, I'm willing as well, but
Well, even, okay, so now we have to do research. We're not gonna get that done tonight anyway. To pass it with the resolution or the change into the other meeting, the public safety one.
Is there more research that needs to be done?
We're not getting answers.
We're not, nobody can come up with a different time and day.
Right, so I'm
Right.
guessing that that's not gonna
I'm
change
guessing
between now
it's-
and the next meeting.
I'm guessing you're probably right. I'm guessing it's probably gonna stay the same. And then next year, when we redo our meetings, maybe we have to take into consideration the COG meeting.
Definitely.
And who's on it.
Mhm.
So at this point in time, I'm just gonna suggest we leave the meetings the way they are. And if nobody can go, if the committee can't go, let me know. I'll go to the COG meeting.
Well, I think that we need to make a definitive decision that you would be the COG rep.
That's fine.
Okay.
But you'll have to resign and you'll have to resign and Trish can stay as the alternate,
Okay,
right?
I mean, it was just an appointment. It wasn't like an official
Oh, okay, yeah, well,
vacancy board or something like
Yeah.
that.
we can just change it then. We can take you off and put me on there then.
Yeah, you just
We
need to
can do
get in
that,
touch.
solicitor?
Is this a committee?
Yeah, it's the Rippers delegate for the COG.
So
So Nancy's on her. She can't make the meetings because of so
I have a preference of being able to be attending the committee meetings that are on the same night
sure,
at the same time. So I'd rather give up COG and come to the committee meetings.
so
and
committee
Ray-
meetings are your province. You can change them at any
Okay,
time, but
okay.
COG
Okay.
delegate, did we vote on that originally or did you just make that?
I think we
appointment?
just
They just
appointed,
assign, I volunteered.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
didn't
right.
realize at the time where everything was like
Right.
up in the
You
air.
just reassign that.
okay? We'll reassign that. I'll take it and then drop you off for now.
Yeah, so you just need to get in touch with Rob Frank. I can give you his number
Okay.
because he needs to know to send the information out to you.
We can do that.
So we'll do that later.
Okay, thank you.
So that was all about the COG. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, old business, none. New business. We need a motion to, Stephanie, I don't know if you need to talk about this real quick.
If you saw in your packet, you saw the insurance renewals, which
Oh.
actually shocked me. They only went up 5.6%, which was shocking. And we're looking at, we do both eye care and dental. We've only gotten dental so far. We're missing eye care, but we're figuring an approximate cost per month of $5,016 for the entire year. That's $60,192, which is $19,000 less than what was budgeted.
Great.
I'll need a motion to approve the renewal of the Highmark Health Insurance.
Make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Craig, second by Mr. Long. Any questions? All in favor? Against? Passed. The next is the motion. We need a motion to approve the renewal of the Borough of Verona insurance policies through Gladfelder.
Again, it is under budget by about $3,000.
I'll make that.
Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Against? Passed. We have our,
Quick question. This is through Ewing, correct?
Yes, but
Yes.
insurance is both better.
Yes, I get it, but they're our agent. Yeah.
okay, at the end of the motions, yeah. You have the ordinance here, an ordinance, we've all had it, we've all had a chance to read it. For the parking on South Avenue. I'd like to have a motion to advertise this ordinance.
So to summarize, this is basically saying that there's no parking on South.
To summarize, it's saying there's going to be a 2-hour parking on the downhill side and no parking on the right-hand side going up the hill.
Yeah, okay. So
2-hour coming on the downhill side,
two on the south, on the north side.
coming down the hill.
Yeah, north side, 2-hour, on the south side, no parking.
Okay, I just.
All right?
Yep.
Bless you.
You know, because the public doesn't know what it is, what it says.
Well, it will be once, we motion for it to be advertised, will actually be put on the web.
Great, thank
so that
you.
people can see it.
Okay.
But
Oh, geez, that's a typo.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Wait, hold on one second, please.
We're just advertising. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, motion by Mr. Long,
Yeah, second,
second by Ms. Resnick Showalter. Any questions?
just a typo. He's got it.
We'll fix it.
Where's the typo?
okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So there's a little typo, we'll address that before we advertise it.
You're only advertising the heading. We'll have it
Okay,
corrected before. we go
okay.
back.
And I'll make sure when we post it online, it's corrected.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed. Motion to approve advertisement of meeting date changes.
Should have been time changed, the public safety.
The meeting
committee-
time change, the public safety committee's going from the same day from 2 till 6. So I'll need a motion to advertise the meeting and time change.
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Provenza,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Carpenter, any question, or Dr. Carpenter, any questions? All in favor? Against? Passed. The next, we have the motion to approve hiring of Officer Jordan Pepper pending a background check. I need a motion. Motion by Mrs. Provenza. Second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor? Against? Passed. We're just gonna
No.
G, we're gonna we're
We
gonna
are
table.
tabling, are you tabling? Chief?
No, we're gonna keep, that's the one where, the weeding part.
That's the
Oh,
waiting
okay,
part.
okay. Okay, yes, that's not the sec, okay. G, there's a motion to revoke Mike Rebecki implied permission to weeding of the park up to 9 feet. What that's saying is, we're not letting him weed up anything up to 9 feet,
No, well, I mean, his definition of weed is up to 9 feet.
right?
We want to revoke his permission to weed.
Okay, so revoke his permission to weed
Anywhere,
anywhere.
because it says park. The park. I don't even know what park it's referring to.
Georgia Railroad.
We since I put that.
On borough property.
Yeah.
Yeah, weeding of borough property. I'll need a motion for that.
Take that motion.
Motion by Mr. Craig,
Second.
second by Mr. Long. Any questions?
I'd just like to say that. I'm fine with this for right now, but maybe when we do further research, we could revisit this in the future.
The one thing it does say in our codes on 655 prohibited conduct. No person, firm, or corporation shall act without a permit duly issued by the manager of the Borough of Verona. Prune, gold, spray, erase, or paint, or remove any tree, shrub, or evergreens from within the limits of the public. And I knew nothing about it.
Was that in the borough code?
It is in the Borough Code at 62.5.
Okay,
Is that a motion and first and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed. The next, we have the motion to approve the minimum fund balance policy. We all have that copy here. I'll need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Resdick Showalter,
I'll second.
second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. We're gonna table this, right?
Yeah, but you skip C.
Table I, but what about C?
We're tabling it.
Oh,
Oh, we are.
okay.
You're tabling, you're gonna make a motion to table. Aye.
Yes, we need a motion to table I. The motion is to remove member of Parks and Recs Committee. We're gonna make, we need a motion to table that.
I'll make a motion to table that.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter,
Are we motioning to table C simultaneously?
Can you do that?
I didn't hear.
or we need the motion to table C also.
You do that separately?
We're tabling it?
I do.
Yeah, DP, he didn't get back to me today. And he had a question. He didn't get back to me today.
Okay.
The union rep.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make a motion to table C and I.
And I made the motion.
Dr. Carpenter made the motion.
Mhm.
Second,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Resdick Showalter. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. We did have one more here.
We did?
They were under the emergency.
Yep.
The planners.
Oh, right, right.
Vince, how did we want to state that?
I was contacted by the president of the garden club today. They had expressed concerns that the hanging baskets that are located on the viaduct, they're attached to the railing, are in very poor shape and rusted out, and they're possibly a safety issue because they're falling off of the railing down to 60 feet to the railroad tracks. So if somebody's walking there and one of those breaks loose, they can get hit by it, or they can fall on a train. She wanted to request to recommend DPW removes those baskets from the viaduct. She also said these are in pretty bad shape. But she offered that the garden club could take these baskets, refurbish them, and plant in them again this year. So she wanted to know, one, if we could have DPW remove the baskets from the viaduct, and two, if we could grant garden club permission to refurbish these baskets and use them for this season.
I don't have a problem with that personally.
So I have a question.
With DPW, if DPW takes them down, where do they want them? Throw them away? They don't want them back? Okay,
Okay. so can-
They said these ones are the only ones that could
Okay.
possibly be saved.
Okay.
Okay, so, my question would be then, in light of some of our other discussions this evening, is that something that needs to be offered to DPW to do that work first?
We'll have them do that.
No, we'll have them do
I don't
that.
want volunteers on the viaduct.
No, not the viaduct, the
Okay.
gazebo.
Refurbishing.
Even
I
though,
would
the-
suggest that we offer
yeah,
Good plan.
DPW if they
Yeah.
want to take it down, but I also want to make it known that the garden club has offered to do the work. If
right.
DPW can't do it
Mhm.
or
Doesn't want to.
is too busy to do it, then the garden club would like permission from council to just remove them, repaint them and then. put them
Right.
back up.
I would think that this would be something we want to do as soon as possible, because it's going to take, if the garden club is doing it, or even DPW, it's going to take a while to sand them down, paint them, let them dry, put them back up, and they're going to want to plant them, by mid-May.
well, DPW is not sanding them and painting them. Garden Club is.
Yeah.
The Garden Club wants, they'll do that.
So we're just asking DPW to take them down.
Yes,
And put them back up.
yes.
Oh, I thought,
Or the Garden Club offered to take them down and put them back up on a gazebo.
And we'll make sure the ones on the viaduct are taken.
yeah, the viaduct, they're done. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to have a motion on, to let get these, baskets taken down at the viaduct and the gazebo. And have DPW do the viaduct and however how do we want to state for the gazebo? Have DPW do it or offer to the DPW or have the garden club do it? Okay, or garden club do it.
Is the garden club gonna do it?
Yeah,
Well,
If,
they offered
If
to.
approved by DPW.
I don't think DPW is gonna have a problem with them if they want to receive them.
but we need to ask them. I
But I
think.
will ask them.
Mhm.
Definitely.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
I'll second that.
I need a motion.
You just made it,
Oh, I made it? Okay,
I'll second.
but you worded it, he made it.
Vince first. Vince made the motion. Second,
Second.
Mr. Long. Any questions?
Okay, so Craig, correct me if I'm incorrect about this, but when we add an emergency item, I don't think we motioned and voted to add the item.
Okay, well, there's a motion and a second on the floor. We should have brought that up before we.
I know,
even
I'm just
considered it. But yeah,
reviewing.
No, you're
It's-
supposed to add it to you're supposed to add it to the agenda.
You're right, and given the fact that this is an emergency addition, that if anyone from the public wants to comment on this situation, they have the right to do so because it's an
That's
emergency
correct. Well,
addition.
because it's not on the agenda.
Because, I'm sorry, yes,
That's correct.
because it's not on the agenda. So I don't know that anybody wants to comment on it, but I just wanted to put it out there that people from the public could comment at this point if they wanted to.
Any comments on this from the public? I see none.
No virtual answer.
No virtual hands. All in favor?
I,
Against? Passed. Thank you. Excuse me for not realizing it. We had
It's
to
okay. It's
make a
fine.
motion to put that on the agenda. Good. Announcements?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Starting with the newsletter, we're taking ads and articles now for the summer edition, which is going to cover June, July, and August. And the due date to turn the ads and articles in is Monday, May 1st. And we always appreciate them sooner if you can get them to us. Chamber of Commerce, watch your mailboxes. The news notices are going to be coming. They're being mailed out this weekend. And you do not need to be a member of a business or an owner of a business, you can still become a member of the Chamber of Commerce if you would like to. And to join, you can email President Stephanie Garibay at sgaribay, Garibay 16 @gmail.com. And there's still spaces available for farmers market if anybody would like to take a booth there. You can also reach Stephanie at the same email address, and she'll be glad to help you with that. Also, the Easter egg hunt, she said to announce it. It's going to be on Saturday, April the 8th, and we will have a balloon artist there for the children.
Third time on that.
11 o'clock.
And yes, I'm sorry, 11 o'clock starts. And next Chamber of Commerce meeting is going to be Tuesday, March 21st, and it'll be at 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building. And Stephanie asked if I would do something for the chamber. And what she's asked for is, in behalf of the chamber, they would like to send her deepest and most sincere sympathy to the Ewing family in the loss of Peter. And we all know that he was a long-time resident here and certainly a long-time business person. And the close of his period, he was secretary of the chamber. So from Chamber of Commerce, they send deepest sympathies. Historical Society, the next meeting is going to be held on Thursday, March 16th, 7 o'clock here in the Borough Building. And the speaker is going to be Anna Matarazzo, who is from the Heinz History Center, and she will be speaking on innovations. And these are always great meetings, certainly open to anybody that would like to. And at no charge to come in. Twin Borough Ministries, the community dinner is going to be held on Wednesday, March the 29th, from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Methodist Church. And right now, they're planning on having people be able to come and sit down in the building to have dinner. Plus, we will be doing deliveries for the people who can't get there. And this dinner will be hosted by Riverside Community Church. And to place soup orders, you can call Shirley Davis at 412-828-3412. And under ALOM, I just have the educational conference is
You-
coming up.
you-
April 13th.
You already said that, Sylvia.
I already said that anyhow, so because they put that, they changed that on, so my apologies. And in closing, if there's any questions or comments, I'm glad to answer them. If not, this concludes my reports. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. I just wanted,
And at this time, I'd like to, this should have been done at the very beginning of the meeting. I'd like everybody to stand and take a moment of silence for the loss of Mr. Ewing. He was a great asset to the borough of Verona. Thank you.
Amen. Before you take comments from the public, Ray.
Yeah.
Thank you for that moment of silence. First of all, appreciate it. I was friends with him and I miss him. But Sylvia, when I was talking to Shirley the other day, I thought she said May was gonna be the first month they were gonna come inside. So I'm not sure, so people might want to check about that.
I can double check. that.
Yeah, before they go thinking that they can sit inside. I'm not sure.
I know when I spoke with her, she thought she'd like to do it.
Yeah, but she told me May, so,
Okay.
okay.
I can.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll take comments from the public on public related items. Please approach a podium or raise your virtual hand. Clearly state your name and address. And limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Susie Davis, 537 Ridge Avenue. Last June, my husband came, well, I came down to the Borough Building and spoke to them about daylighting or trimming the shrub on Lower Ridge. Somebody called him back and said that they're looking into it, they're getting a bid, I know last month, the meeting, you guys said that you were looking into it about the borough doing it possibly. Somebody's gotta do something because it's gonna be bad because we've had a decent season this winter. It's only gonna get worse. And somebody's gonna get hit. The other day, 2 cars came down as I was walking down. They just missed one another and there's nothing there blocking the view. I says, they're just flying up and down there. And only God only knows what's gonna happen once we do get the green shrubs coming in and hanging over and blocking the view again. So please address that and get it taken care of, I hope, before somebody has an accident.
Committee's
Thank you.
looking into that right now.
Okay, thanks, hon.
Hi, Bridget Series, 719 Allegheny River Boulevard. I just had a couple of comments. I do appreciate all the texts that we're getting with updates from the borough. It's really nice to not have to go on the website to continuously to look for things. So I do appreciate that. I also wanted to suggest, if it has not been done, that regarding item XD, that you look at the current parking restrictions that are in the code. South is mentioned at least twice to ensure that you already don't have a parking restriction in place. I also, okay, thank you, appreciate that. I also would like to suggest for consideration that Kier Ewing have some kind of accommodation or some kind of honoring from the borough of Verona due to all his work. It's something that I think is more than appropriate. You know, it was very nice to see Nancy and Sylvia there and Dave on Monday. It was a very nice service. Unfortunately, we had to be there. And lastly, I would, in regards to 1662-5, I wanted to know where a permit could be acquired for that item.
Which item was that? Richard?
The Shade Tree Commission it says that you have to have a permit.
That can be gotten in our offices.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any virtual hands, Vince?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Sherry,
Not East Railroad. I have a comment and a question. So the question I asked the Park and Recreation on Monday, they said to bring the question here. So they have these LED solar power lights, and I was just wondering if I can test it out on the tree outside the hula. If it works, we can, maybe have the businesses to put some lights around the, I don't know, would I have permission to do that?
You mean shining on the tree? Is that
No,
what
no,
you're
no, lights.
Like
You
Christmas
wrap
lights,
saying?
Yeah, but
Wrap
why?
it around.
Yeah, but it's solar power, so it doesn't require any electricity.
but it's one of those borough trees. That's part of the lights. She asked the question.
Can I test it out?
My opinion is, I think they look nice. I mean, I see many communities have the white lights, in the trees. If
I
that's what
think-
you're talking about.
I think we would need to make sure. Just looking at the legal aspect of it, if we get a windstorm and it blows out, who's liable? That's one thing. Before we say yes, definitely, I think we need to research it somehow.
Yeah, you wrap around the tree, and this is not something a wind can blow it out.
Like
because
a
you
like a
literally
Christmas
wrap them
lights.
Are you talking around the trunk or are you talking around the?
around the
leaves?
branches.
Okay.
So it's not gonna blow away because it's around the branches, but if you wanna think about it, you don't have to give me, I'm not
I
putting
think
them
we
out
need
now.
to discuss it to see if there's anything against it.
Okay,
We'll take a look at it at the workshop and.
yeah,
Okay.
they're solar power, and I put the solar power on the top of the tree and then,
My question is all the trouble we have with the trees, I don't want nothing to damage them,
okay,
And along those lines, if we do have an arborist come in and we do tree trimming, they can't trim a tree that's decorated.
okay, well, I mean,
But, I mean,
whatever.
those are things we need to look into.
You
Not saying no.
do what you need to do, and then just let me know yay or nay.
Okay.
Another quick thing is, so the chamber, what we're doing with the chamber membership, once everybody join. A lot of business are going to offer discounts exclusively to the chamber member. So we encourage residents to join because they will get some benefit on the business, will be offering discount. So we're just waiting for all the business membership to come in and then go approach them for discount. So it will be exciting.
Cool.
Yeah,
And the membership for a resident who's not a business owner is how much?
$20.
And how much is it for a business owner?
It's $100. So
Unless you're a bigger business, right?
$200 for bigger. So we're asking like local retailers, like Inner Group is offering discount. Etta James, Offie is gonna offer for discount. We talked to the tattoo shop, they're gonna offer discount. So once we collect all the membership and we're gonna go approach business we have not approached, them, would you willing to offer discount to the membership? So all these discount will be enjoyed by the residential member and the business member. And we also have discount, the print shop is offering discount to business member and so as the Steel City Media. So it's fantastic.
So we'll get little membership cards then. I've never had a
Yes,
membership
yes,
card.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Very good, thank you. No virtual hands. This time I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Long. Second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the meeting and attending virtually.
So are you gonna hang those out?
Yeah, she has map.
Okay.
That's just the back of the information.
Say, can you explain it to me? Is this?
So really, well,
Susie,
all you need to look at is the rating.
Okay.
they are looking at the,
Okay.
I didn't remember which committee it was, but
All this
they
other
are
stuff.
looking at getting bids on trees around and Ridge Avenue mentioned. I don't know which trees, I don't,
It's.
No,